All righty. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us for this 3-day workshop. We really appreciate you coming out and learning more about how to improve your business. And so we are very excited to not only have you here tonight, but also to have our presenters here that are going to help shape your future, shape your business. And yeah, it's thunderstorming like crazy out here. And hopefully we do not get kicked off. But if we do, let's just hurry up and jump back on here real quick, right? So, first of all, we want to kind of just, in case you don't know who Austin Tech is, many of you do, but some of you don't. Austin Tech is really a small business. Our main goal is to help you grow, just to help you empower yourself to get your business to the next level, whatever stage that you are in your business, and whether that be business planning, marketing, branding, trying to get your sales, trying to get customers, or just trying to be, right? What is it that we can do to help you? Well, we partner with experts, just like the folks you're going to hear tonight, that's going to help you throughout these 3 days with your business. So we try to do it better, smarter, and faster, if I can say that right. So I'm just really excited just to have you guys here. Even more so, we are very excited for the opportunity to partner with FSC First. FSC First is a mission driven nonprofit community development institution and community development corporation serving DC, Maryland, and Virginia. They are not only helping small businesses, but they are giving lending to small business. They are giving grants to small business, like the grant that we received for doing this workshop right here. So, anytime you see that there is free information, guys, do not hesitate to jump on it, right? They expand their capital to business resources and entrepreneurs and small businesses that may not qualify for traditional funding. And what that means for you is that if your credit is not quite right, or maybe you don't have the funds in your business to qualify for traditional business funding, they actually help you with your funding. Okay. So you can contact them and be able to get opportunities such as this, or maybe to get opportunities to get funding to help your business. And so through flexible lending, technical assistance, and business support services, FSC First help businesses grow, create jobs, and strengthen local economies. Okay. So thank you to FSC First for sponsoring this. We will be bragging about them all week long. So just know it's coming because we are excited and we want to have them as a partner again. So as you can see, here is our lovely facilitators that's going to help you. So of course, I am Ann Austin. I'm the owner and CEO of Austin Tech. Of course, I've already kind of told you about my business, and I'm going to be helping you understand marketing and advertising in a way that most small business don't really think about. I'm really going to help shape that, and I'm also going to help you budget for marketing. How much does it cost to do that? And I'm going to be doing that in partnership with Lawanda, who is a communications expert. She is on here. She is also an alumni from the Small Business Strategy course, which, let me tell you something, she even shocked me working for Biden. I'm going to brag. That's right. She worked for Biden doing communication. So I'm telling you, if she can do Biden's communication, I know she could do yours, right? And then we have Ellie Natoli. She is a powerhouse when it comes to lead generation, sales, positioning. She knows it all. She's been doing it for years. If you don't listen to her, I'm telling you, you're missing out. And then we have Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr. in the house. He is everywhere and he's with everybody. Okay, he's going to tell you about your brand. Some of it you heard in class. If you was in class, some of it you're going to hear new today. So please take lots of notes. Do not hesitate to raise your hand, get off mute, ask a question. This is a workshop, guys. This is not like a regular training class where you're just sitting back listening. I want you to really ask those questions. Like if you hear something that is really burning in your mind, just ask the question. And if you're not asking it tonight, definitely ask it tomorrow, because you have day 2 and then you have day 3. Okay. So definitely for sure. Okay. And if you can't speak, drop it in the chat. Say something to us, right? So you know that we're here. All right. So let's just go over the course agenda. We'll probably just flash over this the next 2 days, but I just want to remind everybody about the stuff we have going on. If you haven't yet got the link in the chat to the handouts, please download that so that you can have that and learn on the way. Okay, so tonight, tomorrow, 6 to 8, we're going to get this thing popping. Tonight, we're going to go right into branding. So, Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr., he is going to go into his brand new toolkit. He's going to pull it out, get your information, and pay close attention to what he's saying, guys, okay, in terms of marketing, in terms of your brand, okay? Just pay close attention. Some of the stuff you probably heard before, but I want you to put yourself in a different mind space this time, okay? Put yourself in a different lens when you hear it, okay? Day 2, we're going to talk about attracting people, okay? We're going to talk about how do I go about attracting customers? How do we market? How do we advertise? And then Lawanda is going to talk about how do you even take the budget that you're going to be creating and actually pay for some of the stuff that you're talking about. Okay, so how are we going to do that? And then on day 3, Ellie is going to kick us off with all that. Okay. At the end, we are going to ask you to fill out a survey before you leave the class. This is part of what FSC is asking for. So please do not leave class without doing a post questionnaire. We definitely need that. We already made the slides available to you. We're also going to be recording this and all this kind of stuff. Okay. Alrighty. So next on the agenda is just some upcoming things that we're going to be reminding you. If you are in Montgomery County and you've never been in a 10-week small business strategy course, it is now being sponsored by Montgomery County. You need to jump into that class. We got 20 students up for grabs. If you know somebody in Montgomery County that really would love to be in this free business cohort class, and I'm telling you, it's the number one class that Maryland need to be in. You don't want to miss that. Just have them go to the website and sign up to come to the Q&A on the 8th of June. Also, we're having a Women's Entrepreneur Opportunity Group meeting, which is a meeting we're going to have at my facility for the first time. We're going to talk about opportunities, grants, sponsorships, anything that's going to help us grow as a business. I'm going to try to do this on a monthly basis to start out to see who's really out there to want to kind of be in this type of environment. I know I'm looking to get paid, so hopefully you guys are too. We're going to try to do this in person and maybe try to bring in a virtual element, but we really want to do this in person. So for the first meeting, it'll be hybrid, and after that, we'll play it by ear. JNF Enterprises, that's Leroy McKenzie. He has his brand new podcast. If you're interested in listening to his marketing podcast, you really should tune in on Facebook and LinkedIn. He shares a bunch of tips, a bunch of little strategies that you can use for your marketing. You definitely do not want to miss any of that. And then Ellie Natoli also has a special group called The Collective. If you're interested in joining her group, I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to cost you some coins, but that's what it is when you get good information, okay? If you're trying to position yourself to get sales, okay, you need to be part of the collective. And then we have LA Communications Group, which is Lawanda's group. So if you're looking to help with your communications because you're not sure what to say, how to say, what to do, where to do it at, she's the person that you want to do. And anything else business related, you can contact me. After that, we're going to do that. So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to not even waste another minute, and we're going to get right into Leroy's presentation. So I'm going to put myself on mute. But if anybody has any questions before we start, please let me know. Okay, nothing heard. Okay, Leroy, you have the floor.
Good evening. Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me
Yes,
okay? Oh,
yes.
I hear echo. Shoot.
That's because
Mm.
you probably have your other system.
Yeah, and I thought I had it on mute.
Yeah, I don't even hear the echo.
Oh, okay. So you did not hear the echo?
No.
Okay, great. All right, that's fine. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone has had a great, what I call mindset, motivate, move Monday. Hope it has been good. Anne has given you a lot of information to begin with and what's going to happen over the next 3 days. So I'm not going to reiterate that. I am going to tell you a little bit about me and who I am. And Anne mentioned it too, but I am the impact builder, president and CEO of JNF Enterprises LLC. And in addition to that, I am an entrepreneur. I am the author of 8 books and then also a co-author of 7 books that I have been a part of and anthologies that I'm a part of. And those books vary in topics, but the main books that I focus on are entrepreneurship, excellence, and those things that have to do with us being better as entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs as well. I am an international speaker. I've had the pleasure of being able to speak in Africa, Kihancha, Kenya specifically, where myself and a team of others of leaders went and spoke with some leaders over there, entrepreneurs over there, pastors, to be able to talk about leadership in the 21st century and how we move from where we are to where we're trying to go to. I've also had the pleasure of going to London, England, and both of them were through the Christian Business Owners organization that I belong to. It was phenomenal. I'll never forget either one of those trips as long as I as I live, because they were so life-changing and just so phenomenal as far as being able to meet and see new and different cultures. It was something that I just absolutely loved. And then I'm also a consultant. I'm a business consultant as well as a book publishing consultant. And that kind of goes together because writing books came along with doing the consulting, because I found that others wanted to be able to write books that were inside them, but they just didn't know how. So my my light bulb went off. Hey, I didn't want to have others go through some of the um heartaches or some of the bumping their heads against the wall that I went through in writing the book. So what I've done is put together things that assist authors to not only think of their books, uh, but also to think of their books as a business and think their business their books as a brand as well, and using those concepts that we use as entrepreneurs, kind of the same way with entrepreneurs, and understanding the importance and the additional stream of income that you gain with adding an author to your name as well. So that's just a little bit about me. We're going to hop right into this branding that attracts, converts, and pays. Yeah, I know y'all like that last one, that pays, because that's what we all want to make sure happens, is that we get paid for the things that we do. And so my assignment tonight and throughout the whole workshop is to assist you to be able to master your craft, your brain, the industry that you are a part of, as well as the marketplace that you are in. And I want you to be able to master it at such a level that you become the elite of your industry, of the marketplace. You are top of mind when it comes to branding, when it comes to someone thinking about the products and services that you offer. So take notes, as Ann said. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask. That's what I'm here for, to be able to talk about the things that a lot of other presenters might not speak. I call it my 21st century way of thinking. And that's what we'll be doing tonight. So can you check the next slide for me, Ann? Oh.
Did you hear
Did you
me,
hear
Ann?
me, Ann?
The slide is it's on the next slide, Leroy.
I
Oh,
don't see it.
Yeah, because
You
I
don't
just still see the first one. No, I see
No.
my first one.
hang on. I see it in the thing. Hang on, let's see here.
It's still not where we can see it.
Yeah.
That is something. Okay, hang on. Let me unshare and I'll reshare again.
Okay.
It's
No
showing on
problem.
my end that it's shared, but for some reason it wasn't. Let's see here. Try it again here. Okay, can you guys see the screen now?
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh no, no, it didn't.
it still has the first slide on it.
Yeah.
Really?
Okay, I see this, I see the whole slide.
Now, yeah,
Oh,
now that yeah, now you're at the end.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
okay. So why does branding matter? That's I wanna what we're gonna do is talk about this why it matters. Why do you even need a branding strategy? What I call. And here are just a couple of ways that I want you to think about why branding matters and understanding this. People buy trust before they buy products. That means people have to trust you before they will even think about buying from you. So it's not about as we talked about before you get to the being paid, you have to make sure that people trust you. They trust what you say. They trust what you have built. They trust the what I call your what you're going to deliver. They trust what you're going to produce. They trust what you're going to offer, and you build that trust, and you build that trust by your messaging. You build that trust by being consistent, by being committed to the things that you say that you're going to do, and um, by being appropriate in how you deliver what you say you're going to deliver, and how you produce what you say you're going to produce. Because if you don't do those things and you don't establish that trust, and you'll hear me say that throughout this presentation, you'll hear me say about trusting and about your messaging and about being in alignment. Those things those things will give you the ability to be able to to be able to nurture the relationships that you'll have with those that you serve, nurture the relationships that you have with those that work for you and those that work with you.
and when you
And
have
when you
that
have that
trust,
trust,
when you
when you
build
build
that
that
trust,
trust,
what
what
happens
happens
is,
is,
Uh-oh. Echo. We hear echo now.
Hey,
okay,
okay,
let
so
me
Leroy,
move
it
back.
looks like your other computer just flipped on. Your other computer flipped on.
okay, is that better?
Yep, go ahead. Perfect.
Okay, all right, cool. Okay, so once you've built that trust, then you will be able to get people to see the product that you offer, and not only the product, but the answer that you solve. When you can answer the problem that someone is having in, whether it's business to business or whether it's a business to consumer, when you can do that and establish that, people will not only buy your product, but they will become loyal to. And so that's the first reason that branding matters. Second is branding creates an emotional connection. It should create an emotional connection. And I always tell this story. This is my emotional connection to a product that I had some years ago. I'm watching a commercial for Colgate toothpaste, right? And it's this young guy, looked about my age at the time, and he's smiling and he's using the Colgate toothbrush, and he goes out and he sees this young lady that he that he likes and that he wants to approach. And so the commercial is just about him having these bright, shiny teeth, approaching this young lady and her just noticing his smile. So, can y'all imagine the next time that I went out and bought toothpaste, what kind of brand of toothpaste that I brought? I brought the Colgate because of that very thing. And that's what branding is. Branding is creating that connection with that emotional connection. They connected the commercial and the brand. It actually created a emotional connection because one, the young guy looked like me. Two, the young guy had a smile like me, and I like to have a nice smile. But then two, the kicker was, oh, okay, here's a young lady that notices his smile, and I may be able to get someone to notice my smile. So that was the emotional connection that they connected with me. And as a result of that, I trusted that the product would do what it was going to do, first off. And then as I got the results that I wanted as far as, protecting my teeth and everything like that, I began to use that particular toothpaste. So that's the second importance of it, is that emotional connection. The third thing is a strong brand command premium pricing. Now, we talked about getting to the pay this evening. And you have to understand that when your product and when your service, you're
Hey, Leroy, you went mute.
operating
You went kind of quiet. I guess we're having technical issues from the rain.
B.
There you
Okay,
go.
can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. So creating that
level,
emotional connection leads you to
you create
having
a
a
strong
strong brand
creates you to
We got a mute.
and the ooh, can you hear me?
We can hear you. It's just that the other computer flipped on, causing the echo.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, it might be better just to disconnect that other one and just stick with the one you have right now.
Uh, can you hear me, Ann? I'm not sure. Hopefully, give me a thumbs up, y'all, if you can hear me.
Yeah, well, I can hear you.
Okay. So creating the strong brand is actually give you the ability to be able to command the pricing that you want to be able to be able to have. And I'm gonna let that be talked about a little later tomorrow and even Wednesday, because I think that's important, because your brand, having a strong brand, knowing, understanding your marketing and the sales, give you the ability to be able to build this brand that you have in the marketplace, that where you're able to show people that the offer that you're making is going to deliver and produce what it is that you say that you're going to deliver and produce. And then you do that at a price level that is comparable to the product and the service that you offer. And you want to make sure that you're positioning yourself in the marketplace and in the industry in such a way that you don't outprice the market, but you also don't underprice yourself when it comes to your product and service that you are offering. And that's another reason why branding matters. And the last one that we'll get into is branding shortens the sales cycle. Now we'll get into Ellie will get into sales on Wednesday, so I'm not going to touch that. But as a part of branding, you should have a cycle. There should be a cycle. And your cycle is the before, during, and after. And as you take someone, that experience that you're taking your potential clients and your customers through, it gives you the ability to be able to know who you are, what you do, how you're going to serve those that you're serving all the way through from the beginning, from the initial connection that you have with them, the before, how you're connecting with them before, how you're getting them to actually notice you and to be able to be aware of who you are, what you do, and how you're going to be able to do it. When you develop that before, during, and after connection with those that you are seeking to be able to have become your clients, but may start off as your customers. What you do is you give yourself the ability to be able to be clear about where they are in your process and in your cycle that you're creating for them to be able to go through. Can I have the next slide? Sure. Now, what the cost of being invisible? If you have a brand, you certainly don't want to be invisible. It costs you every single day that you are invisible, and it can cost you in certain ways. It can cost you um, in your inconsistency in revenue. If you have low visibility, you may have revenue that is inconsistent. And I want you to take a look tonight. I want you to think about your business, and I want you to think about these things that we're going to be talking about right here. And they may be, if you're seeing these red flags, then you may want to think about making the adjustments that you may have to make in order to be able to create more visibility in who you are. So if you have low visibility, it can create inconsistent revenue for you. So you'll be up 1 minute, down 1 minute, over here 1 minute, uh, and get a great client at the next minute. You want to make sure that you are creating the consistency that you need in order to be able to be the brand, the top brand that you want to be able to be. So that's the first thing that it can cost you. If you with invisibility can cost you. The second thing is it can create product fail without awareness. If you don't have awareness, and that's what one of the first things that you want to be create is you have to create awareness. Ask yourself, how am I creating the awareness of who I am as a brand, not just in your industry, but in the marketplace and to your target market, to those that you know that you solve their problem? Do you have clarity in that? If you don't have clarity in that, then you will find yourself not having the awareness for the people that you need to be having the awareness with. It does you no good to have awareness in a particular place, or you're trying to create awareness and you're in one area, but you need to be in another area. Let's say, I'll give you an example. If I know that my target market is on LinkedIn, then it would not be beneficial for me to say, hey, I'm spending more time on Facebook or on TikTok or on Instagram than I do LinkedIn. LinkedIn should be my main place of creating the awareness that I want from a social media standpoint. So you want to make sure that you understand the awareness of where you need to be, because when you have that awareness, what happens is you can actually be very strategic about what you do, when you do it, how you do it. And what that does is that will increase your ability to be able to have visibility and not lack in the visibility um, uh, department. Okay. So invisibility increases acquisition costs. And what that is if you have inconsistent revenue, then your revenue, you may suffer as a business. You may find yourself struggling at a particular time. And so you are more apt to have someone want to acquire you. So that the cost of that acquisition, it increases, because you may have someone, and you may not even be thinking about, want to be thinking about selling your business, because you enjoy what you do, you love what you do, you know that it is having an impact, but you want it to have it a consistent impact for those that who you are serving. But you can't do that if you have inconsistency. And when another company that thinks you are a competitor and they want to figure out a way or find a way to be able to acquire you, they may look at, well, if they aren't consistent or they notice that you aren't consistently visible, they may strike up a conversation, they may make a phone call, they may notice you in a certain position, and they might think, well, this person might be willing to sell their company, and I can catch them at this particular time and I can acquire them because of, just because of the position that they are in. So, and that's the third one. Then the last one that I'll have on here is your competitors capture attention. Are you capturing the attention of those that are your target market? It's not just about, like I said, it's not just about capturing their attention, but it's developing and creating a connection, an emotional connection for you, because the more that the greater the connection, the greater and loyal those that you serve will become for you. So you want to make sure that your competitors aren't aren't more visible than you. They aren't more active than you. I know one of the things that I heard Will Smith and I heard Kobe Bryant them say is, you will not outwork me. So I want you to think about what are ways that you're going to be able to use after tonight. Because you've heard it now, so now you're accountable for it. What are ways that you're going to be able to be able to make yourself more visible and um, make yourself putting yourself in the position of being um, more aware by your those that you have in your that are your target market. One of the things I want you to think about doing, if you have low visibility, where are the places that you need to be more visible? And you want to be strategic about it. You want to make sure that you want to make sure that you're creating your product awareness. If nobody knows who you are, and they're not seeing you here, there, and that's one of the things that Ann mentioned about me. I try to be as visible as possible. I try to do a lot of networking. I try to do a lot of events that I'm a part of, so that I can make sure that my brand, me, that I'm out there, making sure that people know who we are, what we do, and how we can serve them, and how we are the answer to their particular problem and challenge. And so when you do those things, you'll find yourself not having to have visibility be a challenge for you. Can
So
you
let's
touch
ask
the?
the question though, Leroy. I
Yeah.
mean, how many people are
Okay.
having trouble just with
Mm,
visibility? You know what I mean? Like, what are
uh-huh.
some of the challenges that people are facing when it comes to being visible? I know for me, I'm not a big social media person. So, yeah, Crystal, go ahead.
Good evening. For me, it's becoming a well-kept secret, except for those that do know who I am. And that's
Mm,
where I have my months that I have my reoccurring clients that really show up, and then I have my months that they don't. And so that's one of the things that's been really that I'm really tuning into, is just trying to figure out how to really make myself more visible, how to put information out that attracts the people, that the clients that I am trying to reach.
Right, that's a good one. Thank you for sharing that.
yeah.
That is one of the most difficult parts. That's why we're trying to have this workshop to kind of figure out and identify what's working and what's not working. But I will
Hmm.
tell you that one thing you're going to hear from all four of us is that if you're not matching your services with the persona of your client, you're not going to attract them, because everybody is attracted to something different about your product. It's almost like when what's his name? Leo DiCaprio had that movie Wall Street, where he says, "Sell me this pen." And he had
Hmm.
like three, four different ways of saying the same thing, but he was appealing to certain people, right? And that's what you're going to hear throughout the whole 3 days is you got to appeal your services to the right persona a person, right? Like what I think what Leroy say may not be what you believe Leroy say. So what is that thing that maybe only he has that's appealing to you? And what is that thing that he has that's appealing to me when it comes to branding, right? So you got to be able to sell that product like 4 or 5 different ways, right? To 4 or 5 different people, right? So that's what we're kind of going to dig down into. So thanks for sharing that. Who else is having some struggles that want to share? That was a really good one. What about our folks here not on camera? And I'm gonna start calling names. She's
Mm.
like, they're calling names. What about Nate? Nate, what's up?
How are you? Good evening. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Right. So, since I'm a new brand, in menswear, I make ready to wear sport coats and other accessories like ties and socks. For me, it's
Love.
just getting in front of people who shop in similar places, that my product represents, such as J. Crew, Suit Supply, um, Sid Mashburn, Buck Mason, businesses like that. Um, being that my business is similar to theirs, it's just getting in front of those customers. So, and getting an opportunity. Another other thing I would say, primarily I
No,
would focus on that, just getting an opportunity.
you know what I would say to that? I would say that one of the things that we got to stop doing too is being afraid of partnering with like-minded business owners. Like for example, the guy next door to me, he makes his own concoction of like car wax. You know, you clean your car, and he's always doing detail. He went across the street to the business over here. It's just a little store that sell all kinds of stuff, and he got his stuff sent in there. Have you ever thought about going to like K&G clothing? You know what I mean? Over in the malls and asking them about having your stuff in the store, you know? Talk to some of those people. Tell them the reason why, this would be a great opportunity to partner with them, right? So that's one of the things that I am really a big proponent of is talking about collaboration. So if you're selling like-minded stuff, try to partner with folks, that have like similar stuff to see how you both can win, you know?
Ooh, and I got a good one for him. Find somebody that instead of trying to compete with the larger stores and get in there, find
Hmm.
somebody that's a tailor that
That's
makes
right.
custom suits.
Mhm.
And if
Hmm.
you find somebody that does like custom suits, that does the tailored suits or ties, somebody says clothing, the main store lines may be a little bit tight to squeeze in. Cause like K&G and some of the brand name stores, they probably have their product lines that they use. But find somebody else that has product where they're doing more tailoring to
Yep.
their audience. They'll have you guys can market each other because you can say my dude over here does suits and
He got that tie
And
over
I
there.
get you the socks and accessories. But I would say approach somebody else. Look for other people that are like tailors. Even the
Yeah.
people that do the tailoring may have somebody they got a suit they can't find the socks or something. But that just came to mind. So I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, that was a perfect one. I love that, Crystal. And we're gonna get to Monique in a second too. That's the thing. Minority businesses, we got to stop this. Oh, I can't work with whoever, right? That is where we lose a lot of our power, a lot of our economic power, right? So getting in front of those people, you have to be just as confident as you feel about that product, Nate. Okay. If you're feeling really strong about the socks, the ties, and all those accessories, your persona has to represent that. And honestly, like somebody told me, you are the first brand. You should be wearing that stuff everywhere. You know what I'm saying? You should be wearing it everywhere. You should be talking about it. You should be getting in front of people. You should be doing like Leroy, getting in front of, networking events, wearing the attire, and maybe even throw an event or two sporting the attire. Maybe like a fashion show for men. That's another way of getting in front of people because when they see you doing stuff like that, they're going to want to come and see. You see what I'm saying? You
Yeah,
still there?
Yes,
and
yes.
We
No,
shocked you.
I'm
We
here. I'm
shocked
here.
you.
I,
We
pu- I put
shocked you.
myself
We
on
shocked you
mute.
with all this information.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, but anyway, we're gonna be dip diving into more of that on day 2 and 3. Okay, so great question. Okay, Monique, go for it, girlfriend.
Yeah, so when you mentioned collaborating, I think my thing is how to nurture those relationships because I can have
Yes.
meetings and introducing a company that serves the same audience, but after that, it's like, okay, I met with them, so it's about, for me, nurturing those relationships once I've met them. But the question I had originally was, I really want to have a presence online. So one of the outlets is when they're looking for the service that I provide, that they can just that my company is higher up in on with the SEO.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So when you say SEO, I just want to make sure we clear. When you say it's higher up in the CEO, or you talking about the SEO of your website? So I just want to get some clarity around that part.
Yeah, with that visibility, just
Yes.
making sure that and I don't know, so forgive me for the terms. I know, but I don't know how, to use it. But just
Gotcha.
when we're speaking visibility, that um my company is higher up on that Google page and is
Good.
visible for people to
Good.
say, oh, let me check them out.
Well, good. That's what you want. And yeah, SEO changes like the wind. Okay. So yeah, we have to understand that SEO to get our pages to come up there. But even with that though, if you're still not doing what Leroy is talking about, is getting out there and meeting people, you're still invisible. There are millions, millions of websites out there. And people can Google and your page can come up to the top all day. But if they don't have a purpose, if they don't have a reason to like really get into what you're doing, matter of fact, if you think about how you found this flyer, okay, this flyer had to be visible enough to capture and attract your attention for you to sign up and be here tonight. You get what I'm saying? So you have to bring it up to another level. Okay. So having it is good. I'm working on mine too, but I'm like Leroy. I got to be more present and be more active so people know who Ann is, so people know who Miss Hunter is, right? Okay. Great question on that.
Hey, Anne, if
Man.
just 1 second, I wanted to jump in as
Yes.
SEO purposes and the conversation overall about visibility and how it ties to how Leroy is trying to set us up tonight. So there's a big misconception, and it's none of our business owners' fault. And the misconception is we have to get in front of a lot of people. Go do SEO, go on social media, find as many followers as you can find, try to get, engagement and this and that, and be on top of the page in Google or what have you, which, as Anne just pointed out, SEO and just Google search in general is becoming less and less relevant because of how AI has entered into the picture. But that is very, very hard to crack. That is really, there's a lot of struggle there. And this is why a lot of business owners, they get stuck in this loop of getting visible on, on Google or on social media, and they kind of get sidetracked and business never comes. Another easier way to do that is by building a very strong personal brand so the right people come to you. And so you're kind of going deep and narrow, and you're going to have a better chance and you're going to have an easier time and put less money and effort and resources into your marketing if you're building a good brand versus thinking about how can I get in front of more people. So hopefully that kind of brings more context into the conversation.
Yeah, great. Okay. Any other questions? That was really insightful. I could tell you that. Um, okay, Monique said thank you. That's great. Okay, let's keep it pushing. Go ahead, Leroy.
And, here's the thing. The one word that I want you all to grab tonight, and I want you to make sure that it is a part of your vocabulary. And what you do is consistency. Whether it's branding, whether it's marketing, which we'll talk about tomorrow, or what Ellie will talk about on Wednesday, sales. You must be consistent with whatever it is that you're going to be doing. Getting in front of people, as Ellie was saying, yeah, that comes and goes. But when you are the way that you build that emotional connection and you build those relationships that some of you said that you already have with those loyal clients that you have, consistency. When you show up consistently and you take that message that you have about who you are as a brand, how you know what you have to offer, what you're going to deliver and what you're going to produce, and you do it consistently, people will, as Ellie said, they will come to you because people will start to talk about you more and more and more. So keep that word. You'll hear me say it a lot. Consistency. It is a major key in being a successful brand. Okay, so let's hop to this next one. Branding versus marketing. And got the marketing on lock tomorrow, but we're just going to talk just about a little comparison with them. Branding is why people trust you. It's building that trust that we were talking about tonight. Why do people trust you? They trust you because you're consistent. They trust you because you're committed. They trust you because you're unique. They trust you because you have a pursuit of excellence. They trust you because you are accountable. These are things that when as you're building the brand and you have a branding strategy, and you're talking about having a branding strategy and you're out there trying to gain more visibility, as you're gaining the visibility, you have to show up. You have to be unique. You have to be committed. Show people that you're committed. One of the things that makes me feel good about those that I have developed relationships with, and what has been said to me is, Leroy, you show up. You are consistent. I know that when you say something, you're going to do something, that you are going to do it. You're going to be there you're going to be there, and you're going to support others in what they do. And in return, that gives you the ability. People can trust that. People will believe that. So that's why. So branding is why people trust you. Marketing is how people find you. That's all about how they find you, where they're going to find you. As Ann talked about the flyer. How do people find you? What are the different ways that you're going to use? Whether it's using SEO and you're top of Google, what is it? Do you have a social media presence? What are the ways that you're being able to be for people to be able to find you? And I want you to come away tonight understanding this is who my target audience is, and this is how they can find me. This is where they can find me, and how they get to trust me. And then branding builds loyalty. When you show up, when you are unique, when you have a pursuit of excellence, when you are accountable, these are things that when people look at your brand, you want them to think about. When you think about when you think, all right, how many I want y'all to raise your hand. How many of y'all have an Apple phone? Anybody? I can't see everybody, but how many of y'all have an Apple phone, right? Now, okay, so we got them. Now, how many of y'all have an Android phone? Let me see. I'm an Android.
That's the whole world. That's me.
I'm an Android,
Right.
right? Now, I'm going to show you this loyalty thing, right? Try to get a person that has an Apple phone to change over to an Android. What's your answer going to be for the ones that
No.
have an Apple?
Never.
Never.
Never Apple,
They will,
man.
they
A
will
Windows
never
to
do
the
it.
core, man.
Same thing with us Android users. You are not going to get me to use a Apple product. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. That's the loyalty that both of those brands have created. Why? Because people trust them. The Apple people trust Apple. They know Apple gonna do what they say Apple gonna do. It is. Same thing with those of us that use Android. We say, hey, we Android for life. I'm Android for life. Because I trust it. I know what it does, even though they want to change phones every other week. It seems like they give you a new version for it, and you got to figure it out all over again. But that's another story. But branding creates that loyalty, and marketing drives the action. You all took action because you saw the flyer about this workshop coming in. Those are some subtle differences between branding and marketing. So tonight we're going to talk about why people trust you. We're going to talk about building loyalty. And those are the things that will give you the ability to expand your network and to be able to expand your brand, but also to build your business ecosystem. Part of branding is building that business ecosystem that you have. And the way that you do that is by getting people to trust you and by building the loyalty, by being committed, by showing up, being consistent in what you do. So,
Okay, we got a hand up,
Tim,
Leroy, from
okay.
Marion.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, I just wanted to share with you all that I use both products, but one thing does one thing better than the other. So I do use both for different reasons.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
I mean, I gotta say, I got an
And,
iPad. I watch TV on it. I got my phone, but I would not use an iPhone though for some reason. I just didn't like the iPhone thing.
It's
But
because I'm a photographer and the Apple
oh
product
wow,
is
yes.
better for me to use, but the iPhone I don't use. I do not like the iPhone and Siri and all that good stuff. So I
Mm.
prefer the Android when it comes to a phone.
nice.
Oh, okay. And,
Yes.
and Apple has gotten really better with their, I guess, from a photography standpoint, as far as the picturing and everything like that, because you can they've been shooting movies with the Apple products, and that with some of the Apple products now. So it shows you that they've gotten better, and that's the difference. And I like the way that you said, because I'm quite sure for you, like you said, since you have both, there's certain things that you use your Apple products for, and then there's certain things that you use the Android for. So there's you have loyalty on both ends. And I like that. And I
Yes.
think that's great because of what each of
Right.
them bring for you, benefit you in doing. So that's great. That's great. So,
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
No problem. So Leroy, do we want to give folks like a 5 minute break and then we come back and continue on?
yep, let's do
All
that.
right. So guys, let's come back about 5 after 7. Get up, get some water, come back with some new questions, and we're going to continue on with Leroy's presentation.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yep, we are just about back. Yeah. We give it another minute. I think we have another minute or two before we get started. Who is iPhone number 2 that's here tonight? Who's iPhone number 1? I want to make sure I get you credit for attending. If you're not able to speak, definitely put something in the chat. All right, Leroy, we're going to go ahead and continue to where you left off. And I think you're on mute right now.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yep, can hear you just fine.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. And now let's talk about this, what great brands do differently. And when I say differently, I want to use the term better. And when I say better, not thinking in terms of you being better than anybody else or anything like that. I'm saying, if you and hopefully, how many of you have watched the movie Jobs, about Steve Jobs, the one with the version with Ashton Kutcher in it? But Steve Jobs says something very profound to me in this movie. He tells those that were working for him, he says, we don't have to be different. We have to be better. And that's what this is. Great brands are not just they're not different. They are better. They do what they do better than anybody else. They do it in such a way that it has gained them to grow from a small business to a Fortune 500 business. Every Fortune 500 company was once a small business. They became a Fortune 500 company because of what they did, their particular brand. They became a great brand because of these few things that I'm going to talk about here. They had a clear promise. They knew exactly what they were going to offer, what they were going to deliver, and what they were going to produce. They were clear about that. There was no hesitation. There was no not knowing or understanding who they were. They were clear about the promise that they were making. They were clear about the what they had to offer. They were clear about the product that they created, or the service that they created. Nike is Nike because they were clear on who they were. And y'all may hear me reference several movies that I think every entrepreneur should watch, because it is they are the movies are quintessential to what we're talking about. And one of those other movies is the movie Air, about Nike. If you watch the movie Air about Nike, the the CEO at the time, he was hesitant about moving into the basketball industry with with Michael Jordan, because Nike, the brand, was just known for what? Track shoe with running shoes. They were running shoes and apparel. That was it. But entering into this new market, they had to be clear about the promise. And that was what they came to do when they were introduced to this dude named Michael Jordan. Y'all might have heard of him. He done a couple things, here and there, but they became clear about who they were going to be in the basketball shoe industry. I see somebody's hand up. Is that from
Yeah,
before?
that's Monique. She has her hand up for
Okay.
another great question.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. So let's talk about some smaller brands because I
Uh-huh.
have Apple. Oh, let me put my camera on. I have Apple, and at this point, I really don't know who the president of Apple is, right? But I still have it. Now, when you think about someone like Slutty Vegan,
Uh-huh.
and
Perfect example.
uh, the owner, I think we know the brand because we know the owner. So,
Correct.
but I feel like she's promoting herself and her brand simultaneously. So I have I'm not going to hold you up, but is she when she promotes herself on her own page, is that her personal brand? And then the question is, did we have to trust her in order to trust her brand?
Yeah, I think, well, it goes to trusting her first. And I think that's what she builds when you see her, because people make the connection with Pinky Cole. That's how and then what she did was, when she actually talks about Slutty Vegan, she was clear about what Slutty Vegan is. She's like, she knows who her market is. This is for people that want to eat a particular way. And so her language, even when she's talking on her page, it's about, she's always teaching, she's always coaching, and she's always talking about business. So that gives her a way of being able to kind of introduce herself. And then as she does that, hey, by the way, I'm Pinky Cole of Slutty Vegan. And you'll never hear her not talk about Slutty Vegan, because they are connected. They are Slutty Vegan is her, she is Slutty Vegan. And so that connection that people make when they see Pinky Cole, the first thing they're going to think about is what? Slutty V. They're going to think about Slutty V. And so they go together. She's clear about who she is, but she's also clear about what Slutty Vegan is as well too. So you look like you were going to ask something. You're muted. You're muted, Monique. You're muted.
So
Sorry.
Monique,
There
you're
you go.
muted. There you go.
Is it a personal brand and her Slutty Vegan brand? Because she's on a TV show, so she's expanding her personal brand along with Slutty Vegan. So would you consider her personal brand, or she's the brand?
Well, she is the brand because when people see her, and that's about what we were talking about tonight, creating awareness. By her being on the shows and doing all of the podcasts that she's done, and even with her own social media presence that she has, she understands the power of that influence that she has because she's a successful entrepreneur. People are going to first think of her as a business expert, first of all. And from that, she became that business expert because of the brand she created, Slutty Vegan. And even the name, even the name, who I don't particularly care for, but even the name is a name that is not easy to forget. When you hear that name, you will definitely be like, "Oh, what is that?" You know. But I think she has been intentional about her branding, about
Mhm.
branding herself, being on these particular shows. But then that branding of herself on those shows gives her the ability to be able to create more awareness for
Mhm.
her restaurants, Slutty Vegan. And those two they go together. That you can't disassociate Pinky Cole from Slutty Vegan. And when you think of Slutty Vegan, you're certainly going to think of the CEO because she's the voice of Slutty Vegan. You're going to think of Pinky Cole.
Mhm.
Same thing with it, and I don't know if you all have heard of Uncle Nearest. The Nearest brand, where you've seen Fawn Weaver is the president CEO of the Uncle Nearest brand. She's the
Mhm.
same way. Their business models are pretty much the same thing, where they are the face of their particular brands, and what they've done is made sure that the awareness of the brand comes through them putting themselves in a position where they can be seen, they
Yeah,
can be
yeah.
heard, they
Now
can
I
be
want to add
found.
a couple. I want to add one more tip, and then I think Crystal
Yeah.
has her hand up. You hit on something really profound. So here's the thing, like even with my business, I'm the brand, but then my business is the brand, right? So I have to also let people know who Ann really is to build that trust, right? So it can't be Austin Tech all the time. You see what I mean? Because then that's all they would know is just Austin Tech. But if people get to know me, and they understand how I am, and I'm not, like for example, the women's CEO event that's coming up. That's a chance for people to get to know Ann, to get to know who Ann is, how Ann is not talking business. Ann is not mentioning nothing about Author Tech at all. It's not even nowhere near like it's just to build relationships, right? For people to get to know me as a person, right? In addition to the brand when I'm got my CEO hat on and I'm in talking someplace, then yeah, I'm gonna talk about that who I am and I'm gonna bring the brand with me and that's when I talk about the brand. But like the lady told me years ago, I'm the first part of the brand. I can't separate Ann from Austin Tech 100%. That's why I have a personal Facebook page. I have a personal Instagram page for people to get to know me. But then I also have, my Austin Tech page and my other stuff. So it's like a balance in that. And what she's doing with the lady with Slutty Vegan is that she's tapping into different types of audiences that like different types of things about her. Right? They like her food, they like her personality, they might like this whatever show she's on, they might like the things she say, may have nothing to do with Slutty Vegan whatsoever. They just like listening to her, right? It's like that guy who used to do. You're gonna like the way you look. He was like the brand. I mean, we ain't even seen that one suit this man wore out of the store, but we knew he used to sit there with his little drink. You're gonna like the way you look, you know. And everybody knew that dude, but he was the brand of the Men's Warehouse, right? Everybody knows it, right? Okay, Crystal, we're gonna do that and we're gonna move on because I know we getting stuck. I mean, these are really good questions. Go ahead, Crystal.
I would say the experience builds the brand. The
Yes.
way people experience your company, it was Slutty Vegan, the experience that people got when they went before they knew who the owner was. Because here's the thing, long before we knew who she was, people started experiencing her brand, and as the brand took off and did well and associated and connected itself with other similar things, it built itself. So the experience that people have with that company and what they have when they tasted their food, was that's what built the brand. And then she started coming out, identifying herself as the name behind the brand, and it opened up other doors for her. But and so customer service is always, as you're building your brand and people start to experience you, how they say people will never remember a lot of what you say, but they remember how you made them feel. To me, the experience builds the brand. That's why, for me, one of the things Ann knows behind the scenes, I work with business owners that have their events. I try to make sure I run their event behind the scenes so that when they have a live event, their customers, their people that they want to connect with, they really have time to do it. So as people experience your brand and interact with you, that's really what's going to build your name. One more quick thing. I don't know if anybody, I'm probably dating myself. Run DMC's daughters had a brand that they were asked to do something at a nightclub, but they were also connected with the Girl Scouts. So the thing was, they turned down the opportunity to do the nightclub thing because with their brand that they had for their shoe business, this went in the opposite direction. So what they did was, even though they were offered a lot, they say they were offered a lot of money to do this event, to just come be at this nightclub and they could video it and let it be video, let people know that they were there. They chose not to do it because of who they are about and what they stand for. It didn't connect with what they said they were about. So this one thing went in opposite direction. So I'm learning from seeing what other people have done is that as I do things that connect with my brand, that promote my help reinforce who I say I am, versus do something that goes me off too far to the left, because then it takes away from who I say I am. I'm done. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you
That was awesome.
always want to protect your brand. And if it is something that is outside of who you say that you are, then yeah, that's great to hear that they said no. They were willing to say all money ain't good money, and they understood that. They understood. They were clear about the promise that they were making with their brand, and they didn't want to go outside, and they wanted to be consistent in the experiences that they created for those that were their customers and clients. 1 minute you can't have 1 minute, their brand, their Chemistry brand represented this, and then they all up in the clubs doing this, that, and the other. Like, that's not what we do and represent. So I was glad that they were clear about that. And here's the thing, the last two things on here. You're creating meaningful problem solving as an entrepreneur, as a brand. You want to make sure that, and the word that I use, impact. That's kind of why I have the term impact builder, because my assignment is to create meaningful problem solving, to make sure that when I talk to someone about solving their problem and I tell them that I am the answer to their problem, that after they have the experience that I've given to them, it means something for them. If I'm going to tell someone that I'm going to transform them, their life, their business, their brand from chaos to clarity, then I have to have meaning behind that. That after the experience of what we take them through, that journey that they're on, it has to have meaning to them. They have to feel it. That's that emotional connection that people will feel after they've had an encounter with the impact builder. And that's what I build, and that's what you want to build as a brand. And this is what great brands do. They create that meaningful experience. I told you about the toothpaste. I went and bought it because it was a problem solved, because I wanted to be able to have a toothpaste to be able to brush my teeth. But it wasn't just one. It wasn't just any particular toothpaste. It was one that I saw a commercial. The commercial spoke to me, and it solved a problem. It was a meaningful problem solver for me. So that's what you're creating with your brand. And then the last thing is great brands. They value community over audiences. It's not like it's about having a community of people and having those people that are loyal to you. Like we talked about Android versus iPhone. That's the loyalty. That's the community. The Apple people are a community for Apple. The Android people, we're a community for Android. It's not for them. It's not about, and even with Slutty Vegan, it's not about the audience. It's not about just capturing an audience just to capture an audience. It's about building a community of people or other businesses that have a loyalty to you, that have a belief in you, that you're going to, what you offer is going to deliver and produce what you say it's going to deliver and produce for them on a consistent basis. That experience that you get from them is going to be that way each and every time. It's why a Marriott is a Marriott. People, when you think about hotels, you may think of Marriott hotels because you know you're going to get excellent customer service from a Marriott hotel. Same thing when you go to Chick-fil-A. That's how Chick-fil-A can be closed on Sunday, the busiest day for chicken, and they still are I believe they're the number 2 restaurant in the country. That's how they do that. They are clear about their promise. They have a consistent experience that they give to you each and every time. They they solve your problem because you know you want that chicken sandwich from Chick-fil-A every single time. It's gonna hit. And they choose community over just having an audience. Yeah, Chick-fil-A could have been open on Sundays and they'd have people coming in and radio audience and everything like that. But for them, they are about a community of people that understand the meaning behind who they are as a brand. So next slide, Dan. Thanks. Okay, this is what we're gonna talk about real quick because I know we might be a little behind. But your brand value equation. Here's what I need you to do. I need you to write down these 4 words really quickly: visibility, credibility, consistency, and value. And what I want you to do with those 4, I want you to score them between 1 and 10, 1 being on the low end and 10 being the high end, where it's perfect. And I want you to grade your brand on these 4 things. Grade it on the visibility, grade it on the credibility, grade it on the consistency, and grade it on the value that you believe that you produce in your brand. And anything that is below an 8, those are the things that you want to work on. And you want to develop, but like we talked about, how do I gain more visibility? What is it that I need to work on to get my visibility? Is it that I need to carve out a certain amount of time, 3 times a week or every day, Monday through Friday, to be able to gain more visibility, to gain that consistency with showing up? Same thing with credibility. How am I going to increase the credibility that I want to be able to have in the marketplace or in my particular industry? How can I be more consistent? Am I more? How can I be more consistent? Am I showing up for the people that I need to show up for? Am I showing up for my target audience, for my target market? How can I be more consistent with them? How can I be more consistent with those that I'm going to partner with? How can I add a greater value to what I do? If you do the first 3, visibility, credibility, and consistency, you'll see that score for your value go up as well. And here's what Marriott did, because I used to work for Marriott back in the day. That was my major in college, hotel restaurant management, and I went to work for Marriott, one of the top hotel chains just in the world. But they had what was called a scorecard, a guest scorecard, and you could not, as a hotel, get below a 90 on that scorecard. That's how adamant they were about their credibility and their consistency and the value that Marriott's name was. If you got as a hotel, if you got below a 90, the GM was getting a call, and they wanted to know from corporate office, because the GM had the card before corporate office. They want to know how you are addressing that issue that that particular customer had? Have you talked to the customer yet to find out what the issue was? To be able to find, and if you had a overall score of below 90, they would even take your flag. You couldn't carry the Marriott flag. That's how adamant they are about their brand and the value that they wanted to be able to bring. And that kind of approach to your brand puts you and makes you give you the ability to be able to be elite in your industry, elite in the marketplace. There has to be a standard that you have to have. And when you operate at that standard, you will see and say, okay, these are the things that we need to work on, or these are the things that we need to be more consistent with it. So did you write those scores? Did you write those four down and get the scores? So let me hear some of y'all what you think that you can work on, that you could do a little better. You don't have to get a score. That score is for you. But what you can work better at or do better at.
This is Marion, visibility, because I'm just starting out. So
Okay.
that
Mhm.
would be mine.
Nice.
Yeah, I agree
Nice.
with that as well. Visibility definitely can work on that.
Yeah, I got visibility and consistency. I know that I could be visible, but I'm not always consistent.
Mine
I
is
need to work more on that. I have to admit it, between working and trying to do business, it's hard to be consistent.
it is
Unless you got some money, right? Which because
yeah.
I'm looking at my score now. I only met half of what I need to do.
Yeah.
This is
Mine
Yeah.
nice. I like this score.
visibility and consistency as well.
Yeah, this is nice. Okay, awesome.
And here's the thing beyond tonight, because as when I talk with Ann, and when I talk about things, I'm always looking beyond that particular night, that particular way, because you come away with this, but the next step for you is to develop a strategy for
Mhm.
each of these that you see you need work. What's my strategy for visibility? Like, and you said you need to carve out space. Okay, you may only be able to do 2 hours. Let's say an hour, 15 minutes. But that hour or those 15 minutes, you're going to be consistent. Become consistent
See,
at
that's the
doing
consistent
that.
part. I got to work on that. But
Hmm.
Tamiko has a comment. She said,
Uh-huh.
"You are right about the Marriott. I did business with them for many years for service award planning, and they took the survey and gave me every year seriously. So that's good to have, that right there." And then there was another comment from Monique. Given the political climate, people can switch brands quickly after being a long time customer. If the customer is affiliated with a party, what is that called? Is that the disconnect? And I was saying, hey, you got to reinvent yourself, whether you are in a party or not, because your customer never stays the same. As long as the next newest, latest, greatest something is coming out, you still have to reinvent yourself. Shoot, hot dogs do it all the time. Great new flavor, new packaging. And you know what? We think it's new. And we pay 20 cents more, right? So you always have to reinvent your business. You have to rebrand your business or check your branding status every few years to see like what customers likes have changed, what new customers do you need to get into, because they're not going to stay the same. You can't stay the same. Your business can't stay the same, right? So you have to change and reinvent yourself. Okay, Cheryl, you got your hand up.
Yeah, I was gonna say to Marriott, as an event conference planner, I used to do really large conferences from 6 to 10,000 people, and Marriott was one of our major chains that we used. Um, I would have the general managers used to come personally to my office if something did not work well, and they would check in with me, as we move getting towards those conference dates on site. And they would come to my office at the time when I was working with different associations to talk to me about what could we help them improve on, from the response rate, because we're dropping millions of dollars in that particular city and those hotels, sometimes citywide. And the general manager would come to my office and meet with myself and my higher ups to talk about what wasn't working. So yeah, they took that very, very seriously. And I think it's a testament to how we're working, in our businesses now, making sure that the customer service answering the questions. Um and especially if you're working with collaborating with partners as well. But yeah, so it's a I'm with Ann too. You know, for me, visibility and consistency is because I'm one person at this time. So you're trying to do the marketing, you spend a day and you do one thing, but then tomorrow you have something else, and then you're also trying to find new work and contracts. So how whatever your business formula is. So the question I have is, what are your thoughts about hiring someone? Um, to help you do these marketing initiatives and what they may look like. You know, I've seen prices across the board of, what they're charging, and it's interesting. But any thoughts
That
behind?
that is, yeah, that is actually Lawanda. She's going to talk about that on day 2 tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Because we're going to be talking about how do you afford to pay for advertising and marketing and communications, right? Because it is expensive. I mean, every little single thing you do out there is pay per click, pay per impression, pay per something. It is very expensive to do it. So you have to be sure who you're targeting, right? So Lawanda is going to be talking about in her section about the cost of communications, the cost of advertising. I'm going to be helping you guys understand some other things about marketing. But yeah, you can hire somebody, but it's not going to mean anything until you match your services with the right client and that you actually understand the persona and actually work on strengthening the brand, and that brand recognition is everything. You constantly have to look at your position of your brand all the time, right? So that's why you see the commercials the way you see the commercials. They're always searching for the persona who they are targeting. Just because they have $30,000 and they throw a commercial out there don't mean that they're targeting you. They are trying to target a fishnet of people that meet a specific criteria in that commercial. Okay? They're not trying to get everybody. They're only trying to get the ones that they know is going to fit within that puzzle. Okay? That's why they do these commercials the way they do, you know? So start thinking about that. I say that in class, but I mean, I'm really serious when I say that because if you don't understand why they're doing that in a commercial, you won't understand why you need to do a certain thing in your commercial or in your ad or on your promotion. If you can't understand why they have certain words, certain colors, certain people, you will not understand how to position your marketing for the thing that you're trying to sell, right? That's the attraction part, right? People are attracted to what they're drawn to what they can hold on to as a solution to their problem. And if it doesn't fit within that puzzle, they're just going to say, oh, okay, that's cool. Let me tell my cousin about it. And then it's off their mind, right? That's usually how it works. That's usually how it works. Okay, back to Leroy because I talked too much.
And just real quick, and we can go to the next slide. When it comes to hiring, one of the great equalizers that we've had in technology is AI. And what AI has done, it has reduced the amount of time to be able to do certain things. And if utilized the right way, AI can be a hire for you because you use that and it can reduce that time. And especially if you're in the beginning stages and you don't the budget isn't it isn't a large budget and everything like that, and you're working with a specific amount of money that you need to be able to that you can use and that you don't have to use. A lot of things that we see that AI can do can be a part of that. So you want to take a look at that, the visibility and the credibility and all of those things. If you use AI the way that it is intended to be able to use, it can cut down on a lot of the time that we think that we don't have and utilize it and be able to use it, allow it an automation, and we'll get to that a little bit here tonight. Automation to be able to assist you to be able to do some of those things that you don't have to worry about doing it all yourself or having to have all of this money to be able to have someone else to be able to do it too. Yes, you want to have somebody on your team, but you want to make sure that it's going to be in your budget. Able to be able to be in your budget. Okay, so let's get into these 7 fundamental strategies of branding. Those are partnerships, technology, exposure, events, and we've talked about many of these things tonight. Increasing your products and services, promotion, and then your brand new culture. Let's start off with partnerships. And one of the biggest and best ways for you to be able to increase your brand awareness, your brand recognition, and increase your network and increase your business ecosystem. You'll hear me say that a lot. But your network and your business ecosystem is partnerships. Partnerships allow you to be able to do that at a faster pace because what partnerships give to you are you're tapping into someone else's network. You're using someone else's network because if you're partnering with someone, they have a network, you have a network, and when you bring those two networks together, it expands both of you because their network is exposed to someone that they would not readily be exposed to, just as their network gets exposed to someone that they would not readily be exposed to if there was not that partnership. So you want to utilize the partnerships, and we talked about it with I believe it was Nate. Nate, that is a great way for you to be able to gain the exposure and awareness and be able to say, hey, who in my industry am I connected? Can I connect with that doesn't necessarily have to do the same thing that I do, but they need the type of clients that I have. And you bring your clients to the table, they bring their clients to the table, and at the same time, both of you become each other's assistant as far as bringing clients to each other, and it becomes a great benefit. And you can go to the next slide. Um, that assists you to be able to do that. So you want to be able to think of that. These partnerships are strategic alliances. Here's another movie for you all to. It's a documentary for you to check out. It's called the Black Godfather. It is a documentary about. His name is Clarence Avon. If you get a chance, it's on Netflix. Watch it. It is one of the most important men that you have never seen out
It's
here. You
great.
can think some of the most major events have happened, and he's responsible for them. I'm talking about the soundtrack to E.T. I'm talking about Hank Aaron getting his what do you call it? Not sponsorship, but his thing with Coca-Cola. And presidents called this man was calling this man. He's passed away now, but presidents were calling this man for advice, and everybody in certain industries knew his name. But if you were outside those industries, you'd be like, who is this dude? So they are. But he says in his documentary that relationships are resources. And that's what partnerships are. They're strategic alliances, but they're also resources for you. They're resources for the person that you're partnering with. It's collaborating with complementary brands. That's what we're talking about. Making sure that they complement what you do, that they're connected in some kind of way with what you do. You know, you share your audiences. You share those audiences that you have with each other, and that becomes a way for you to be able to gain more clients, and it increases your credibility. Why do you think so many people wanted to be in Oprah's book club? They want to be in Oprah's book club because of the Oprah effect. I think that's what they call it. They call it the Oprah effect. Not only because of if her book, if she selects your book, it's going to garner a certain number of sales, but it gives you automatic credibility. Oh, my book was selected by by Oprah Winfrey. I'm a part of her book of the month, or the things that she does with that. You're looking to be able to increase your credibility, and partnerships give you the ability to be able to increase your credibility. And then the last one is it expands your opportunities because if you are the more people that you are connected to and become connected to, the more opportunities that you will gain, and that credibility piece goes into the opportunity because if you have credibility, then people will want to give you the opportunity because of who they believe that you've been connected to or that you might be able to connect them with, and the audiences that they see you sharing with. So think about that. That's one of the benefits of a partnership with the strategic alliances. So you can go to the next slide. In. And with partnerships, you're going to have a referral ecosystem. This is that ecosystem that I was talking about. You build referral networks, because if you have the one thing that everyone on here should be asking every single client, every single time, once you've completed their experience, is, do you know someone else that could benefit from our product or our service? And you grow your network like that. Because if you have those testimonials, if you have that experience that you're creating with them, you want them to tell someone else. Word of mouth still is the number one means of being able to grow your brand and your business. So you're building those referral networks by doing that. You create strategic introductions. I will connect people in a heartbeat if I feel like it's a connection there. Oh, they do this, they do that. Let me connect them. I think this could be a mutually beneficial, opportunity for both of them. Let me connect them. And when you do that, people will also see, oh wow, let me tell you about this person. He connected me with who, or she connected me with this person. What do you think other people will want to do? Nothing gives me greater joy than someone calling me and telling me that they connected with someone that I connected them, that introduced them to, and they now are doing business with each other. I just had that happen last week. One of my business associates, she called me up earlier and said, "Hey, Leroy, I'm trying to, I got a particular problem or challenge that I'm trying to solve. Do you know anybody that might be able to assist me with that?" I said, "Yeah, give me a couple days. I got a couple people that I can reach out to and talk to about it." Did that, connected her with with the person. She called me back and was like, Leroy, thank you so much. Thank you so much for this connection, because now we're doing this, and this, and now I'm able to grow. And we talked about her being able to expand her ecosystem, her business network, because of the things that she's actually working on and everything like that. So that's what that can do for you. That's what what your referral ecosystem can do for you. That's what your referral um, network can do for you in the introduction part. It can, and you want to reward your advocates, those that are your advocates or ambassadors. If you have a referral program, that's great. If you don't have a referral program, I want you to think about having a referral program. It's one of the ways that you can incentivize those that are loyal to you, that are your ambassadors, that they'll run through a brick wall for you. Oh, I ain't gonna let you talk about my aunt. I ain't gonna let you talk about my Miss Marion. Y'all know, no, you not. I know what they can do. You're not gonna do it. And they become those that if they're bringing you in clients or customers, yeah, you want to have a program that tells them, thank you, I appreciate you saying what you say about me, or doing what you did, because you didn't have to do it. You didn't have to refer me to someone else. You didn't have to tell someone else about the experience that you had with me. You could have kept that all to yourself and not moved on. And then develop your mutual relationships. They're going to be relationships that you have, and that ecosystem and that network becomes a deeper connection for you. It becomes it can expand because of how you're growing, and the people that you're being connected to, and then the relationships that you're now growing. And we talked earlier about nurturing those relationships. You nurture those relationships by having conversations, or just checking in with them, or just saying, "Hey, I saw something and it made me think about you, and I just wanted to call and see how you doing." "Oh, I just wanted to check with you. We have this going on right now. Do you know anyone that might be interested?" Following up. Or if someone has an event, show up at the event. Be at the event. Support them, and they will do the same with you, supporting you. That becomes the way that you nurture those relationships that we're talking about here tonight, and building that ecosystem, that business ecosystem that you're able to build. You can go to the next one. Community influence. What community influence are you having? Everyone on here. There should be you should have an influence in the community that you are part of. And you do that by doing a couple of different things. And I want you to think about these things. Supporting local organizations. What organizations are right there in your community that you can show support to? And it's just a matter of going and having a conversation with the owner. Introducing yourself if you haven't introduced yourself. Let them know that you're there. Let them know hey, here's what I do, but if there's anything that I can do to assist you, finding out what they do, and you can make sure that you have an impact in their business as well, those local organizations or businesses that are there. Engage industry groups. What industry groups are you a part of? What industry groups? I want y'all to write that down. What industry industry groups are you a part of? And they may meet once a month or something like that, but are you engaged with them? That's a great way for you to be able to grow your awareness, to grow the impact that you're having. Serve before selling. I'm gonna say that again. Serve before selling. You must be willing to serve people before you sell them anything. That means, how can I serve you? At what capacity? What is it that I can do for you before I even think about? And I don't use the word sell. I use the word offer. I want to offer you something. And before I offer you something, I want to know how I can serve you. Because if I can serve you, then I gain your trust in what it is that I'm going to offer you. If I know what your needs are, if I know how to serve you, if I know the language that you're speaking and telling me what your problem is or what your challenge is, and I have a means and a way to be able to solve that for you, then the offer comes right behind it. The offer can come behind it where you say, here's what I offer, here's what I can deliver, here's what I can produce for you. Or if I'm not able to do it, if it's not something that I can do, then do I know someone who can? And I can connect you with that particular person. And then become a trusted resource. Become that trusted resource that people can ask you, hey, do you know anybody that does this or anybody that does that? When you become a trusted resource for people, they will in turn do business. They will send business your way. Why? Because of the influence that you've had and the impact that you've had on their particular brand in their business. You can go to the next slide. And here's technology. We'll talk about technology really, really quickly and developing your digital infrastructure. And your digital infrastructure is your professional website, your CRM systems, your email automation, and your scheduling tools. When we talk about your professional website, we talked about the net. Do you have a professional website? Where can people go to purchase your products and services? You always want to be able to take a look at what your website has or doesn't have, or how you can improve it, and doing, 21st century updating to it to make sure that it is constantly and consistently meeting the needs of those that you serve. So you want to make sure, take a look at your website tomorrow. Take a look at your website and see where it is that your website can use some innovation. It's just like your house, your home. Every once in a while, you want to put some new paint. You want to give it a new paint job, or you want to do some maintenance or do some other things to it. Add on a deck or something like that. Same thing with your website. How can you add, or what do you want to add to your website that's going to make it even more appealing to those that you serve? CRM system. That how can you? She talked about, I forgot who it was, talked about the SEO, but your CRM system give you the ability about how you connect intimately digitally through to those that you serve, to your clients. Are you using a current CRM system, or is it something that you need to upgrade to, or that you need to upgrade on? When you can do that, these are things that you want to take a look at that are going to assist you to be able to be that elite brand that you want to be able to be. Your email automation. This is one of the things that you can use automation for that will save you time. You don't necessarily, or it gives you an immediate response to someone who may send you an email. When you have the ability to not have to be there to, if you can't get to the emails right away, you already have an automated response, and then you can get to it, but you at least have that initial response. Take a look at the email automation system that you're using. Or do you need one, or can you use one in order to be able to enhance the experience with those that you serve. And then the last thing is your scheduling tools. How can people schedule an appointment with you? What's that tool that you're using? Is it Calendly? Is it another type of scheduling tool that you can use so that people can get on your calendar and be able to have a way to be able to connect with you, and using that will be able to give you to be able to know, hey, I have my schedule, I know who's on my calendar, I know I have a meeting, so I know if you have these different meetings and you have a means to be able to know when those meetings are taking place, you can make your schedule out for your day. And you can know, hey, I know I have this meeting at this time, but I also have these other three things that I got to get done. So I've got to make sure that I integrate those in my schedule. Here's the second piece of the automation. You want to automate repetitive tasks. If there are tasks that you are repetitive in and you've written them down, you want to make sure that the tasks that you have that you do consistently on a daily basis, you want to make sure if they're repetitive, how can you automate them? How can this be automated? And that what that will do is that will create more time for you to be able to work on your business, not in your business, as we said earlier. You'll have the ability to be able to say, do more for be out there gaining the contracts or the clients that you be able to need, as opposed to having to do things that can be automated and that can be taken care of without you being there with them. You want to streamline your customer journey. I talked to you before about the before, during, and after. That's streamlining. I know that there's an experience that I'm creating, an overall experience, but you want to create an overall, you want to have that system, that streamline that you have be as seamless as possible. That journey from the initial connection to the follow up, you want that to be as in such a way that it makes people say, wow, I've got to go back and do business with this person. That experience was so captivating that I have to be a part of what they do. I have one of my business associates. She is absolutely phenomenal at creating this customer experience. And she does that, the journey that she takes people on, she does it because she understands the streamlining that she has. And those that are part of her events and the things that they do, they always come away with saying that she's created an experience for them. And you want to improve your response time. You want to make sure that your response time to those that you serve is minimal as possible. Of course, there are going to be times where you can't get back, but you have to make sure that you get back in the appropriate amount of time, within a reasonable amount of time. Because if you don't, that's where you can create a disconnect. That's where you can create a thing where people will be like, yeah, they're not good at responding back or getting back to me. So I'm gonna move on to someone else that can do it at a greater level, at a bigger level. And so your response time is important to creating that trust as well, too. And then you want to enhance that customer experience. I want every single one of you tonight to ask, how can I, with a three ways, just start with three, with a three ways that I can enhance the customer experience. I think about that right now. We got 2 minutes, and see if anyone can talk about that.
Now, can you guys just hang on just another 10, 15 minutes? We do want to go over this worksheet that Leroy has for you. So, can you
Okay.
guys hang on a little bit longer?
Yep.
I think we're good. Okay, you want me to do the next
Okay.
slide? Okay.
Yeah. Let's go to the next one.
All right.
We're really behind. We're not gonna get
Yeah.
through all of this. With
Yeah.
AI and analytics, use AI for what it's been created for. It is a tool, just like everything, the other things that you use. It is a tool. It can allow you to be able to use the data to guide your decisions, using that data to assist you in guiding and making those decisions. Do not, I'm gonna say it again, do not only use the data to guide your decisions. You are an experienced entrepreneur. You are a utilize, even if you're not a seasoned entrepreneur, utilize the connections that you have, the mentors that you may have. And I suggest that everyone, if you don't have a mentor, that you make sure that you have a mentor and because they can be crucial in assisting you in being able to make decisions using the data that you have. What is the data telling you? But also, what is your experience telling you, and what is your perhaps mentor telling you? Track your customer behavior. That way, that data tells you what they are likely, what they like, what they don't like, what they, kind of where they are, what they like to do. That those tendencies. When you go to Giant or other food stores and they have those bonus cards, that's what that's what those bonus cards do. It gives them the ability to be able to track their customer behavior. So you want to be able to do the same thing and track that behavior, because that way, if you're listening to the behavior, you can speak their language, and you can also know what things that they are more than likely to be able to use or do or be engaged with, and measure their engagement. If your clients aren't as engaged, ask the question why. What is it that you need in order to be able to have them more more engaged with it? Because if you measure the engagement, you can measure what it is that what adjustments you might need to make as a part of it. And then the last thing is optimize your campaigns. Those campaigns that you may run, your branding campaigns, and Ann will talk, I'm sure, tomorrow about marketing campaigns. But the more that you optimize them, the more you're able to make the adjustments that you'll be able to make, and you're able to maximize. You're able to maximize the engagement. You're able to maximize the campaigns that you're running to be able to gain the exposure that you want, or have it accomplish what it is, campaign accomplish what it is that you want it to be able to accomplish. You can go to the next slide. Here's the next thing with your exposure. When you're getting exposure, you want to make sure that you're speaking consistently. Your message should be the message all across everything that you do, you say. That's what branding is about, making sure that you're consistent across all platforms that you use, that your messaging is the same, that you're not speaking one thing here, you're not speaking another thing here, so that people can know what they know about you, and one person is saying this about you and another one is saying this about you. One of the things that you can do when you gain exposure is you can publish articles. One thing that I will suggest that everyone here is that you do some type of article, whether it's on LinkedIn or through your email. You can have an article that you publish, whether it's weekly or monthly. But this is a way that you can stay connected to those that you are already serving, and then it's a way to connect with new people, getting new organizations, getting new businesses to be able to connect with you by using published articles. You can share your expertise. This is a way that people begin to see you as an expert at what you do. They'll see you as an expert in your industry. They'll see you as an expert in the marketplace. And then you should always want to be teaching your audience. You want them to come away with learning something and understanding something. One of the things that I gauge anyone that I do business with, or that I want to make sure that every client that I serve comes away with being enlightened, empowered, and impacted. That they get taught something, they get equipped with something, and then they get impacted to want to do something. And that's what this workshop is about for me. Yeah, I want you to come away with being enlightened, empowered, and impacted. I want to, hopefully this is teaching you something. Hopefully this is equipping you with something. And then hopefully this is impacting you to want to do something. So you want to make sure that you're always teaching your audience. You're always giving them, pouring into them, as I say. And do we want to stop here? I know we kind of short on time. You tell me, I guess, what you want to do.
How many more slides you got?
I don't know what slide we're on.
The exposure. But what we could do is everybody does have like the
Correct.
slide
Have the
deck.
workbook.
Looks like we have quite a few slides. What I
Yeah,
would like for
yeah,
you to
yeah.
do is kind of, I will bring up the worksheet and you can actually
Okay,
tell them how to use that because
okay.
they're definitely going to need to use this
Right.
and everything. Let's see, can everybody see that screen, the worksheet here? Yeah,
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
great. All right, so Leroy, you want to explain to them how this works?
Yeah, and what this is I wanted to develop something beyond today. As I told you, I wanted you all to have something that you could actually use and implement right away, and make sure that you come away with the tools. Because I told you, I'm equipping you as an entrepreneur to master your craft. And so the activity, excuse me, that we have in here, the brand value equation, that's what we did at the beginning. We did a couple of these things. That's your visibility, your credibility, your consistency, and your value. Taking a look, engaging those, and then after you've done that score, creating a strategy for it, moving beyond moving beyond just writing down the score, but understanding, okay, here's this visibility that I need to be able to do, but how am I going to go about doing it? Here's my credibility. How am I going to go about doing it? So this is what each of these activities, your partnership evaluation, taking a look at who you partner with or who you can partner with, and here's how you do a vetting. You create the vetting process. What are you connected to, or who are you connected to, or who are they connected to? What value do you bring? What value do they bring? And what value do they receive, because people are going to want to know, if you're going to partner with them, what are they going to receive out of this partnership. So you want to be able to consistently you want to look at yourself and evaluate yourself, but you ask yourself the same thing about them. What value are they going to bring to you? So you want to be able to look at these things and you want to write them down, and you want to be able to, as you go into developing these partnerships, you have your vetting process, and you begin to talk about what you're looking for in a potential partner. The technology is going to be important for you, because you need to know how can you use technology to maximize yourself over the next 30 days, and how can AI be that tool, that you can use in order to be able to gain the visibility or the credibility and all of those things. You can put that in the prompt for AI, and it will actually map out and give you some suggestions, or even develop for you a whole plan around, around gaining more visibility. So use these activities. This is what it's created for, so that you can work on it, and you'll give you the ability over the next 30 days, over the next 60 days, and you use that as a template. And then we're ending the second quarter. This is the end of the second quarter in June. So you're getting ready to go into the second half of this year. This is the perfect time to be able to utilize this workbook and worksheets for you, to be
So,
able to
so yeah,
use.
guys, I really want you guys to try to use this because not just to kind of write it down, but actually use it to execute, right?
Mhm.
Use it to execute, like whatever activities that we are giving you guys, just build it as if you're ready to start, branding, marketing, all that kind of stuff in the next 30 days. See where you are and see where you need to start, right? So all of these different things right here is literally designed to set you up. What does your brand look like? What is your consistency? What is your technology status? How do you even do a 30-second pitch? What is your actual promotion strategy, right? Go back to your vision board. Who do you serve? What are you really selling? How are you really bringing that benefit, right? And all this stuff that he has in this worksheet. Use that tonight to kind of set the stage. Tomorrow, what we're going to end up doing tomorrow is we're going to start deep diving into actual attraction. Like, how do we use our products to create a niche to attract the right type of people? What type of persona do we need to do? We'll have that conversation. And then we're going to do, what type of budget do you even need to have to even reach the people that you identified, right? How much is it going to cost you to do one ad. How much money are we talking about? What are the different types of marketing? What are the different types of communications? What's the different types of advertising, right? Those are all seem like the same words, but they're not. They're all different. So we're going to be covering all of that and setting you up for when Ellie comes in on day 3 and she's talking about positioning. So by the time you come out of this workshop, you should know or at least have some idea of how to go about framing your brand. You should have some sort of way of budgeting and getting prepared to reach for a specific audience and knowing how that money is going to be generated because it all boils down to price point. If you can't match your products and you can't generate money, then you don't have any money for advertising, right? So we need to flesh out where those problem areas at and then get you positioned so that when you start getting a lead, you know exactly how to sell. You know exactly what to say and how to say and where to say it at. Because that's the whole point of this whole workshop is to take you from branding to selling to getting revenue, right? So that's what we're trying to do that's different. It's not something we talk about in the class. If you have taken the class, we're literally going deeper than that. So come tomorrow with like your whatever issues that you're having in terms of selling, whatever issues you're having as far as positioning, whatever issues you have for that, bring it to the class tomorrow because that's what all matters. We got the branding thing down. Now let's talk about how we attract people. Let's talk about how you're going to generate that money and how you're going to use that money to target the people you want so that you can generate more money, right? That's the thing. That's the key. Because we're all as business, we're trying to all make money. To somebody's point earlier, I think it was Monique, is that as we continue to evolve, we are going to be stealing each other's customers. Okay. Businesses steal each other's customers all the time, right? What you do to attract that person's loyalty from their loyalty to me or that loyalty to Marion or Ashley, it all depends on what it is that I'm providing that's solving the problem for that specific person, okay? So when you're advertising, you are doing that person, that whatever that persona is, and that's what we need to build tomorrow, right? So I appreciate all you guys coming here and we're open. We're open for any questions that are still out there, to hang around. We're not gonna kick you out right away. It's just we're just gonna be mindful of everybody's time. But we're also here to answer any questions that you guys may have still.
Sure.
Yeah, go for it. Okay. Nothing heard. Nothing heard. It's all quiet out here. Was this information helpful to most of
Question,
you?
Anne.
Yes,
I have a
ma'am.
question. Hi.
Hi.
Yeah. Thanks for the webinar. It's very, very helpful. Yeah. Okay. My question is, okay, for my business, I have a mobile healthcare service that provide like DNA testing, drug testing. I'm having a hard time get contract with the government. So I'm going to need a lot of help for that. And I applied to SAMS.gov and all that, but some of those stuff are so complicated to
Well,
understand.
well, you were
You
in the
know.
you were in the class and you have the booster kit. You just need to try to schedule with me the right time and day to go over that stuff, Muriel.
Okay. Okay.
Because that
Okay.
that right there, government. Now, I will tell you when it comes to the government in terms of this topic,
Mm-hmm.
they are more in tune of your capability statement. Your capability statement is your brand document. It is the document that you use to market yourself to the government. And then you also have to do what Leroy said you have to do. You have to get in front of the decision makers and then present that marketing material and all the things that come behind it, your experience and everything behind it to build a relationship with that procurement office. For example, when I went and applied to the Montgomery County to get that task order to do a free 10-week class, I had to actually call the lady, build a relationship with her, and then me and her had a dialogue, and before you know it, I got the task order. Okay. It
Okay.
really boils down to who you're talking to. So, yeah, we did the whole proposal, and she said, "Oh, it was the greatest proposal in all the world." But if I hadn't like talked to her on the phone and tell
Mhm.
her exactly what I'm trying to do and find out what the county needs and try to build that into it, I don't think I probably would have been as effective. I would have been okay, but I don't know if I would have like actually got it. You see what I'm saying? But just having a
Yes.
conversation, she was
Okay.
actually able to talk to me and give me insight and guidance on what I needed for us to finish the proposal, right? So that
Mhm.
is the power of
Mhm.
like communicating and getting in front of somebody, right? So if you're trying to
Okay.
like broaden your horizon, you gotta, it's scary sometimes when you don't know what to say. But when you get into the government realm, it's a totally different thing. Their mindset is not
Mhm.
like traditional business out here. They have a whole different budget they go by. They
Mhm.
have a whole different set of rules that they have to follow. And even if you build a relationship, at least they can point you in the right direction, or they could tell you what not to put in your proposal to, so that you can get your foot in the door. Okay. They have rules too, but we just have to get
Okay.
on that call and go over that binder for that class that you
Okay.
missed, and
Yeah.
then actually go through this. Okay.
Okay.
All right, that's what we
Thank,
gotta do. So that was a
thank
great
you.
question. You're
Mhm.
welcome, Monique. Thank you guys for attending. Who have to drop? Thank you. I see we got the after party crew on here. Let me go ahead and stop the recording. Yes, I'm gonna stop the recording. We got the after party